The rule is if you have a function, okay, let's review the rule. If you have x to the n, which is the power, what you do with this one is you carry, when you take the derivative, okay, you take the power, you bring it to the front, and then that power is going to be minus 1. And that was the general rule that we use. That's the power rule that we use to take the derivative, okay? But sometimes when we run into a problem where the power rule is not very straightforward. So this is the second exam that we looked. So if this one is on the denominator, my first steps is that I will rewrite this. So the one that I bring up is the one that in the denominator, I bring it up. Take the derivative, this is the notation. I will look for the notation. When you do practice, when you use summative, I'm going to ask you to write the notation correctly so I know that which function is the derivative and which function is the general function, okay? So it's going to apply. You're going to do the same thing. Nothing changed. So what you do, you see this negative 1. That is the power. That is the power. I will carry that over. So it's going to be negative 1 when I bring that over. Multiply. I'm going to rewrite my function, this one. Negative 1, what you do with the power is you're going to minus 1. So take the power, put in the front. If you have a coefficient, then you're going to multiply with that coefficient. If you don't, then that will turn into your coefficient. So that's negative 1 times 2 give you negative 2. Negative 1 minus 1 give you negative 2, right? Now, this negative 2 is a negative exponent, and we don't want negative exponent, so we'll bring it down. So that would be negative 2 x to the second power. And I think that was the one that most of us was making a mistake. So question for me on that, where do I get the negative 1? If you look at the function, the original function, the one that given to you see the x on the denominator? The rule that we apply is not apply for the one on the denominator. So that's when I move the x on the bottom on the denominator to the numerator, right? So when we move it up, the exponent, this one is a 1. This is to the power of 1, x to the power of 1. So when you bring it up to the numerator, the power is going to turn into negative. So that's how I got the negative 1, x to the negative 1, because I'm carrying this x on the bottom right here to the numerator, okay? All right, let's look at the next example. I have 4t squared over 5. So for this question, do I need to move the t? Do I need to change the power? Or I can just go ahead and take the derivative? And that's a question that you're going to ask yourself, like, should I move to the numerator, or is this already on the numerator that I don't have to do anything? Okay, so if I looked over here, this one is on the numerator, so I don't have to do anything. For me, I like to rewrite the fraction this way. And now I can apply the rule, okay? Back to the question, one of you is still asking about the first problem. I'm gonna write over here, so x, this is like to the first power, right? Since it's on the denominator, I cannot use the power rule, so I have to rewrite this by bring it up to the numerator. So once I bring it up, the power, when I bring it to the numerator, the rule would turn into the negative exponent. So that's how I get that negative, okay? We'll do more problem with that if needed. Okay. So yes, for this problem is already for the second problem, I'll move on to the next one, is already in the numerator. So I'm not going to change it. So that's the difference. You see how the x over here, if you look here, is on the bottom, right? The t, the power is on the numerator, so I don't have to move it. So when I'm taking the derivative at prime, right? So I'm taking this power, the 2, move it to the front, which is 2 multiplied 4/5. And at the same time, the power is going to be 2 minus 1. So now I'm just 2 times 4, which is 8/5. 2 minus 1 give you 1, so that is my power. So that's my answer, 8/5 t to the first. And I think this is one of the objective that I asked you to do in PudoWorks, and that's the one that that was giving you the problem. Okay, I have a couple of students who just joined. I'm going to share with you the link. Okay, please join PEDX. You can join us. Question on these two examples. I still have people put in the chat, and that's good, but let me know. So even though the coefficient, I think one of the objective is, a lot of us get confused because, oh, I have a fraction. What do I need to do something with that fraction? Not really. Is you only take that fraction as like a coefficient. It's the same as 2. It's the same as 3. You multiply with the power. Okay. For today, we're not going to get too radical. You see that the square root of 2 and all of that. We can hold on to power with a fraction, but I'm going to do one more example when the power is just a number, and then I will give you the time to go back and do practice with negative exponent in Khan Academy if you make a mistake. If you didn't do your sub plan, then you will do it. But I'll do a couple more examples, and then we'll check in, okay? All right, so let's look at this example E. We'll come back to C and D next time because that will be a new concept. So over here, f of x is negative 3/2x, right? For me, when I do this, sometimes I'm just like rewrite the fraction, so it's much clearer for me. So f of x negative 3/2x. If you rewrite the x and that's help you see the problem better, then do it. But do you have to do it? No. Okay. If you see the problem, you understand how it's worked, then that's fine. And some of the question you got, some of you asked me earlier, if you don't see the power, is it safe for you to assume it's 1? Yes. That is the power of 1. It's just that we don't write the 1. You want to, then you could, but you don't have to write out the 1. Okay. If you look at this one, this is the one with the power of 1. If it's a power of 1, it's a linear function, right? If I'm going to rewrite this one, negative 3/2x. If you think about the derivative, it's like a slope. So what is the slope of this line if you think of this problem? So if I'm going to take the derivative, what would that be? What is the derivative of this one? The slope is this number, right? So yes, thank you. So negative 3/2. So that's when I'm taking the derivative or the slope. If I have that memorized, then I don't have to do the extra work. But if you don't have that memorized, that's okay. I can show you the one thing that I would do if I don't remember, okay? F of x is what I would do. F of x negative 3/2. If this is the negative 1, okay, sorry, not negative, is a power of 1, right? This is what I would do. I'm taking this power. I can do the same thing. I'm taking that power of 1. If I'm taking derivative, I'm taking that power of 1, bring it over. 1 minus 1. If you cannot have it memorized, this is the slope, this is a linear function, I just look at the coefficient. Then you can do this method. 1 times negative 3/2 will give you negative 3/2, right? 1 minus 1 become 0. The power is 0. And this is something, anything to the power of 0 is just 1. So this is the same at negative 3 over 2 times 1, which is negative 3 over 2, and that is the slope right here, okay? So that's another way for you, if you don't remember the rule, is when you have a linear function, that is the slope. I'm just looking at the slope. You can do the same thing. You take the power, you multiply. 1 minus 1 is 0, the power of 0, but keep in mind the power of anything to 0 power would become 1, right? So that is the one thing that I saw the common mistake, so I want to go over that. The same thing with the negative exponents. There's one more that I'm going to go skip a couple of things, is that when you have, this is the third objective in the sub-plan that I assigned for you, and I saw the mistake. What I would do is I'm going to reassign that again. If you did it and you didn't like the score and you want to go back and redo it, we'll do it, okay? So I'm going to quickly do this one, and then I'll give you the rest of the time to go back. If you didn't do your sub-plan, you would do it. If you didn't do your Khan Academy, there were 2 assignments, then you would do those. So I'm giving you the rest of the time to do it. But I want to quickly go over this because I find that a lot of us didn't do this one well, okay? So you have a bunch of terms in here. So this is the power of 1, right? If you don't have any number, that's the power of 1. When you run into this problem, you have more than one term, it's okay. You're going to take the derivative one by one. So I'm going to do the first one, which is x to the third. I'm doing that one first. So I'm bringing the 3 to the front, right? And then 3 minus 1. Okay. Now I'm going to move on to my next term right here. I'm doing the same thing. I know this one, if you look at this one, is the power of 1. This one is the linear function. It's the linear function, so I know I'm looking at the coefficient, which is the slope, which is 4. Okay, and then remember the last one is the constant. We know the constant is a horizontal line. If the horizontal line, then the slope is 0. If the slope is 0, then I don't have to write that out. I don't have to write that down, okay? So 3x to the second power minus 4, and this is my derivative, okay? So keep in mind, it's something that if you don't remember, then let me know. I'm more than happy to go over that with you. So here's a question. If you are ready to do practice and you need to go back and use the time to do it, we have about 11 minutes, which enough for you to start on the assignment that you didn't start, and then I'm going to enter in grades today, okay? So question for me, do you need more example in this one? Then I would do more example. I think I should do one more example, but in the meantime, for those like I need to do the practice, then you can do it. If I need to go back and redo it, you can do so. So let me, okay. I did not have an example, but what I can do is I'm going to use this screen. I'm going to clear this. I'm going to do another one. If I have y equal 2x to the fourth power minus 3x plus 10. Okay, we can do this. So if this is the example, I don't have it on the slide, so if you want to copy this down, then do so. So y prime, right? I'm taking the derivative. So let's highlight. I'm going to start with this one. So I'm going to do it one by one. So for this one, to take the derivative, I'm taking the power, which is 4. Bring it down. and then 4 minus 1. So I always minus 1. And then I'm going to move on to the next one. If you recognize this one, this is to the power of 1, right? So this is a linear function. If it's a linear function, what is the slope? That's the question that I'm going to ask myself. What is the slope of that one? Which I know is -3. And then if I look at the last one is a 10, the constant going to be disappear because this one is a horizontal line. Right? Horizontal line, the slope is 0. This is a linear function. This is the slope. Yes, so it's going to be -3. I'm going to finalize this problem. So y prime. Okay, this 4 times 2 is 8. 4 minus 1 is 3. That's -3. So this is my derivative. Okay. So what I can do right now is that if you did well on your subplan, then that's fine, no problem. You don't have to redo it. If you didn't do well and you want better score and you want to redo it, I will fix that assignment for you, and then I will give you a chance to redo it. If you didn't do Khan Academy, use this time to do it. You can share the screen with me, and then I can look at the problem. I can help you as well. I do hold office hour today because we have class today. So office hours today, 12:45. If you want to see me, or tomorrow at 11:55, office hour. All right. So the rest of you go ahead and do those practice. Go back, use this time, do what you need to do. If you finish with all of those three, the three that I'm talking about is the 2 Khan Academy and the sub plan that I assigned on Thursday. If you complete with those and you get good score, then let me know. I will dismiss you early. If you didn't do it, use this time to do it. All right, so I'm checking in. If any of you need me to do more example with this problem, then let me know. I can do more example. Okay, so give me 1 second. I saw the chat. I need to stop recording this lesson first, and then I will